up here. I couldn't find it. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. In honor of Leiloa, Amako, Malepeai, known to many of us as Little Loa or Puka, I stand before you this morning with God's grace and strength to honor his life. Fun fact, Loa shared with me that he was a true Raiders fan.
Yes.
He never really supported his dad's Cowboys. He despised the uncle's 49ers. So just, I said it first, no one can deny it.
We're in the house of God.
You guys know I wasn't going to say it. Okay. I can still remember the day I met my little big nephew, Loa, for the first time. It was a couple of days after Sister Tali gave birth to him. But he was in the NIC unit of the hospital. He was hooked up to tubes, monitors. For those of us who were present, Tali shared what was going on with Loa on his road to recovery. I couldn't help but notice how big and strong he looked laying in the incubator and what a fighter he would become within the first year of his young life and so many more years after that. As we all know, there were things Loa could not do, things we as people, such as myself, take for granted every day. When people looked at him, that's what they saw, the things he couldn't do. But that's not what we saw. That's not the Loa, that's not who Loa was. When his parents, brothers, sisters, grandparents, God rest their souls, and we're glad we still have Mama Pepe, who played a very big role, part of Loa's support system in his life. When they looked at him, they didn't see what he couldn't do. They didn't see what he couldn't do. They saw what he could not do. He could smile, he could laugh, and oh boy, the laugh he had. That's my defense mechanism, sorry. He could give one of the meanest chokeholds. He could feel if you were upset or sad. Loa could love without condition. He could show his love without ever saying a word. Just a stare from sitting or standing across from you with a big smile as he needed to do. He could show his love without ever saying a word. Not everyone has those abilities. There were people in our world today who have many blessings that Loa never had, and yet don't appreciate these blessings. They have good health and yet take it for granted. They can walk but don't know which way to go. They have arms but don't use them to reach out to others. They can speak but they don't know how to tell others they love them. That wasn't a problem with Loa. Like I mentioned earlier, he could express his love with a look and with a smile. Loa could even express love by showing who he was comfortable to fall asleep near, because he trusted he'd be cared for. Something I will forever cherish when he fell asleep on me after watching my wife put this part in, the best school in the world, Radford, perform at the We Are Samoa Festival in 2019. I'm not saying that part. She put down Go Rams. Love ain't only shared in words, it's much deeper than words. Loa inspired others to try harder by seeing him overcome his own challenges. He reminded others to work harder as well. He taught us about strength and how to be happy, because Loa took joy in the simple things, being at family gatherings, drinking mocha frap, listening to music, and singing out loud when he came to give God all the glory, honor, and praise. We could look to Loa for example of perseverance, inner strength, as he continued to fight battles in his health and limitations that saddened many of us. He showed us what it is to be strong, because strength isn't found in toughness, who's the toughest or the biggest. Strength is found in one who keeps on going, never giving up, keeps trying day after day, long after others have given up. With that being said, Loa was a hero, just like his parents, grandparents, and his siblings, who also kept going day after day, through the best times and through the hardest times. Loa gave us an insight by showing us things we might have missed. He helped us witness and see bigger pictures of how special his immediate family was to him, the ones who bore most of the caregiving tasks, day after day, month after month. It's a special kind of dedication that enables people to put their own lives on hold so they can do everything possible to care for their loved ones. They became your helper when he couldn't help himself. They became his voice when he couldn't speak for himself. They became the support when he couldn't stand on his own. They let you know that therefore they will never leave his side. That's exactly what Loa's family did for him. Showed him the utmost unconditional love possible with no regrets. To love and to be loved, and Loa taught us how to love without words, without limits, without reasons. Loa gave us the gift of perspective, reminded us that most of our problems are not really problems, and to be grateful for what we have. Life is fragile, for tomorrow is never promised. Continue to live in the moment that we were given freely every day. You have fought the good fight, my boy. You have finished the race, and you have kept the faith. You will forever be in our hearts and will never be forgotten. Thank you for sharing your life with us, Lord. We love you always. Ango Dadu and Didodo and Cousin Derry. Uno Yesu, amen.